The automotive industry has always chased the impossible. More power, better efficiency, lower emissions. But sometimes the pursuit of innovation becomes a race toward disaster. You're about to discover 5 engine technologies that look brilliant on paper, were championed by the brightest engineers, and failed spectacularly in the real world. Prepare yourself, because what comes next is a masterclass in how not to revolutionize an engine. 1971. General Motors unveils the Chevrolet Vega, the America's answer to the fuel-efficient Japanese imports flooding the market. And at its heart, a revolutionary aluminum block engine that promised to be lighter, more efficient, and cheaper to produce. The 2.3-liter four-cylinder used an innovative design, aluminum block with no cylinder sleeves. Instead, the pistons ran directly against a special silicone treatment in the aluminum bores. Genius engineering, cutting-edge metallurgy. On paper, it saved 50 pounds over a cast-iron block. Better fuel economy, lower production costs. GM expected to sell millions. They tooled up massive production facilities. The Vega was going to save General Motors. But there was one tiny problem. The engine consumed more oil than gasoline. The silicon treatment wore off fast. By 30,000 miles, the aluminum bores were scored and worn. Piston rings couldn't seal. Oil consumption went through the roof. 1 quart every 500 miles was normal. Some owners reported adding oil every fill-up. And when the bores wore through the silicone coating completely, the engine seized, without warning, on highways, in traffic. Thousands of Vegas were abandoned on roadsides with locked-up engines. Consumer Reports called it one of the worst cars ever made. The Vega destroyed GM's reputation for small cars for an entire generation. Total Vegas built? 2 million. Total that survived past 100,000 miles? Maybe 50. The aluminum engine wasn't just a failure. It was a cautionary tale about rushing unproven technology to market. But at least it didn't kill anyone. 1963. Chrysler unveils the future, a production car powered by a turbine engine, the same technology that powered jet aircraft in your driveway. The turbine engine could run on virtually any fuel: diesel, gasoline, kerosene, vegetable oil, perfume. Yes, they actually tested perfume. It ran for 20 minutes before the injectors clogged. Chrysler built 55 units and loaned them to families across America for real-world testing. On paper, revolutionary. In practice, a nightmare. Problem 1, fuel consumption. At idle, it drank fuel like a jet at takeoff. City driving, 8 miles per gallon. Highway, maybe 15 if you were lucky. This was supposed to be efficient. Problem 2, throttle response. Step on the gas and wait 3 seconds for the turbine to spool up. In traffic, terrifying. Trying to merge, life-threatening. And the final nail in the coffin, the exhaust emissions were so toxic that when EPA regulations came in the 1970s, the turbine engine couldn't possibly comply without technology that didn't exist. Chrysler destroyed 46 of the 55 cars. The remaining 9 sit in museums as monuments to ambitious failure. The rotary engine, smooth, compact, high-revving, loved by enthusiasts, hated by reality. Felix Wankel invented it in the 1950s. By the 1970s, everyone from NSU to Mercedes to General Motors was developing rotary engines. Mazda bet its entire future on the technology. The concept was brilliant, a triangular rotor spinning inside an oval chamber. Fewer parts than a piston engine, higher power-to-weight ratio, smoother operation. But there was one tiny problem. Apex seals. These small strips of metal at the rotor tips had to seal against the chamber wall at temperatures exceeding 932 degrees Fahrenheit while moving at incredible speeds. They failed, constantly, catastrophically. Engines that should last 200,000 miles were dead at 60,000. Oil consumption was absurd. 1 quart every 1,000 miles was considered normal. But Mazda pushed forward. The RX-7, the RX-8, beautiful cars, suicide engines. Owners formed support groups online teaching each other how to rebuild engines in their garages. And the fuel economy? A rotary four-cylinder consumed more fuel than a V8. When gas prices spiked in the mid-2000s, Mazda finally admitted defeat. Production ended in 2012. The rotary engine, a 40-year experiment in defying thermodynamics? Thermodynamics won, but at least it was just money and reputations on the line. 1978. America's in crisis. Gas lines stretch for blocks. Oil prices have tripled. General Motors promises a solution: the diesel engine for passenger cars. Finally, 40 miles per gallon in a full-size sedan. There was just one problem. GM didn't actually develop a diesel engine. They took their existing V8 gasoline engine and converted it to diesel. No reinforced block, no stronger head bolts, no upgraded bearings, just diesel injectors on a gas engine. Because that'll work, right? Well, it didn't. Diesel engines run at much higher compression than gas engines. The GM V8 wasn't built for it. Head gaskets blew, cylinder heads cracked, main bearings failed. Engines literally tore themselves apart. But here's where it gets dark. The failures were often sudden and catastrophic. Engines seizing at highway speeds, steering and brake assist disappearing instantly. GM knew. Internal memos from 1979 show engineers warning about durability issues. They released it anyway. Over 350,000 units sold before they finally stopped production in 1985. The lawsuits lasted decades. The settlement costs exceeded $1 billion. And the damage to diesel's reputation in America? It lasted 30 years. Even quality European diesels couldn't break through because American buyers remembered what GM did. GM's diesel, proof that cutting corners doesn't save money. But the number one technology on this list? It nearly destroyed one of the biggest automobile companies. Number 1. The technology that nearly killed Cadillac. The V8 6.4 engine with variable cylinder deactivation. 1981. Cadillac announces the future. An engine that can run as a V8 when you need power, V6 for normal driving, and 4-cylinder for fuel economy. Seamless, automatic, revolutionary. On paper, it was genius. Use all 8 cylinders for acceleration, then shut down cylinders you don't need. Save fuel without sacrificing performance. 20% better fuel economy. The perfect solution to the gas crisis.
Showing that I'm running into this 4-cylinder mode, now 8, because there's a bit of a bump here. Climbing a little hill. Now in 6-cylinder mode.
There was just one massive problem. This was 1981. Computers were the size of refrigerators. Processing power was laughable. And Cadillac tried to make one control an engine with microsecond precision. The system couldn't keep up. Cylinders deactivated at the wrong times. The engine would buck, hesitate, stall. Drivers reported it felt like the car was having a seizure. Dealerships were overwhelmed with angry customers. Cars were being towed in daily. Some mechanics started disabling the system and converting the engines to run as straight V8s. Cadillac had to offer official conversion kits to turn their revolutionary technology off. Sales collapsed. In 1981, Cadillac sold 250,000 cars. By 1985, under 100,000. The V8 6.4 nearly destroyed America's premier luxury brand. Lincoln and Mercedes swooped in and stole market share that Cadillac never fully recovered. The V8 6.4 failed because Cadillac tried to build the future with 1970s technology. It's a reminder that being first isn't always being best. Sometimes you need to wait for the world to catch up. But the damage was done. An entire generation of luxury buyers learned to never trust Cadillac innovation again. And that stigma, it still haunts them today. 5 technologies, billions in losses, hundreds of thousands of disappointed customers. All because someone decided to rush innovation before it was ready. The lesson? Innovation isn't just about having a revolutionary idea. It's about having the technology, the testing, and the humility to know when you're not ready. Drop a comment telling me, which of these 5 technologies shocked you most? The Vega's aluminum disaster, the deadly GM diesel, or Cadillac's V864 nightmare? I'm reading every single one. These 5 failures changed the industry. They taught engineers what not to do. With that in mind, in the next video, we'll talk about when engineers know exactly what to do. We'll cover some of the best engines ever made in human history. If you want to know more about them, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. I will see you in the next video.